The ground shook under Sergeant Cole's boots as he ran through the burning ruins of Veralia 7. The sky was red with fire and smoke, and strange alien ships flew overhead. His squad had been wiped out in an ambush, only he survived. He didn't stop to look back. The only thing on his mind now was to escape and find shelter before nightfall. Everyone said no one survived the night alone on this planet. Cole ducked behind a broken pillar as more enemy drones buzzed past. His sidearm was low on charge, his armor was scratched and cracked. Breathing hard, he scanned the shadows for movement. That's when he heard a sound behind him. Soft, like silk against steel. He turned fast, ready to shoot, but what he saw made him freeze. A woman stood there. No, not a woman, something more. Her skin was smooth and pale like moonlight, but her eyes burned red like twin stars. Long crimson hair flowed down her back. Her armored bodysuit looked like it had been grown, not built. Sharp black horns curved from her head, and black marks like tears ran down her cheeks. She wasn't holding a weapon, but her presence felt like danger itself. Cole aimed his gun. "Don't move," he said. She didn't flinch. Instead, she stepped closer. Her voice was calm, soft, but strong. "You're the last human on this battlefield," she said. "You saw me, my true form. That changes everything." He frowned. "What are you talking about?" he asked. He didn't lower the weapon. She stared into his eyes like she was trying to read his soul. "There's a law among my kind," she said. "If a human sees us uncovered in the sacred form, there are only two choices: wedding by vow or death by dawn." Cole thought it was some kind of joke or a threat. "You expect me to believe that?" he asked. "I don't even know what you are." She raised a hand slowly, pointing to the sky. "The war is a distraction. Our real purpose is buried here. And you, human, are now bound to it." Something glowed behind her, an ancient stone, hovering mid-air, cracked open from the blast. Strange symbols danced on its surface. Cole didn't know what it meant, but it pulled at him like a whisper in his blood. He tried to step back, but the energy around the woman pulsed. She wasn't attacking, but he felt trapped. "Let me go," he said. "I don't want any part of this." She shook her head gently. "You already chose the moment you looked at me without my mask," she said. "You've been claimed." Cole's hands trembled. "Claimed?" he repeated. "You're not making sense." She moved closer. Her voice became firm. "If we don't bond, my people will come by dawn and you will die. But if we bond, they cannot touch you. You'll be protected. Even honored." It sounded insane. But something in her eyes wasn't lying. Behind the strange armor and sharp horns, there was sadness, pain, maybe fear. Cole didn't trust her, but the sky thundered again, and time was running out. He looked at the stone, then back at her. "And if I agree?" he asked. "Then we speak the vow," she said. "We bind spirit to spirit, and the war no longer matters. Only survival does." Cole had survived worse, but this was different. This wasn't just survival. This was the start of something bigger, something ancient. He didn't know what choice he would make yet. But the night was falling fast. Cole followed her through the ruins, unsure if it was bravery or madness that made him walk beside her. She didn't speak much, and he didn't ask questions. Every now and then, she glanced at the sky like she was counting the hours left. The glow above the horizon was slowly fading into night. She led him into a deep chamber beneath the ground, hidden by rubble. It was ancient. The walls pulsed with strange energy, and symbols lit up as she passed. It didn't feel like a place made by war, it felt sacred. As if they had stepped into something forgotten by time. "Where are we?" Cole asked. The woman looked at him, her red eyes softer now. "This is where my ancestors made the first vow. It's the only place strong enough to hold the bond now." Her voice echoed inside the chamber like it belonged there. he noticed a round platform in the center. It looked like it had not been touched for centuries. She stepped onto it and motioned for him to follow. He hesitated, but his instincts told him it wasn't a trap. He climbed up beside her, and the platform lit up beneath their feet. She turned to face him. "You still don't trust me," she said. Cole shrugged. "I've seen a lot of crazy things in this war, but nothing like this." She tilted her head. "Do you want the truth or just a way out?" He didn't answer right away. She reached up and removed her armor's neckplate, revealing a glowing mark at her collarbone. It pulsed as she got closer to him. "This is my soul mark," she said. "If we speak the vow, it will burn onto your skin. It will protect you, but it will also bind us forever." Cole stared at it, not sure what to say. He didn't believe in fate or destiny, but something about this felt real. Too real to ignore. He looked at his own hands. They were scarred from years of fighting. He never imagined anything like this would happen to him. Not in the middle of war. Not with someone who wasn't even human. "You still haven't told me your name," he said. She smiled faintly. "My true name would burn your mind. But you can call me Solari." Cole repeated the name. It felt strange on his tongue, but right in some way. She stepped closer, their bodies inches apart. "You need to decide, Cole. If you don't choose before the stars vanish, the bond will break and both of us will die." He didn't understand everything, but he understood survival. And something told him that this bond was more than protection. It was the only way forward. The war had taken everything from him. Maybe this was his last chance to take something back. "I'll do it," he said. Her eyes widened, just slightly. "You're certain?" He nodded. "Let's finish this before I change my mind." She lifted her hand and placed it over his heart. He felt a warmth spreading through his chest like fire and light mixed together. She began to speak in her native tongue. The words sounded like music and thunder. Cole didn't understand the meaning, but he felt every word in his bones. When it was his turn, she whispered the vow in his ear. He repeated it, word for word. As he finished the last phrase, the glowing mark from her collarbone leaped onto his chest like lightning. He gasped and fell to one knee. Pain surged through his body, then vanished. When he looked up, she was glowing. And so was he. The bond had taken root. They stood in silence, the chamber pulsing with life around them. Something had changed, not just between them but in the world. The war above had shifted. The energy in the air had turned still, like something ancient had been awakened. Solari placed her hand on his. "It is done. Now they cannot touch you. You are marked. You are mine." Cole looked into her eyes, trying to process everything. "And what now?" he asked. She looked toward the exit, her expression darkening. "Now we survive the next trial. The bond was only the beginning. There are others who will try to tear it apart." Cole clenched his fists. He didn't know what trial was coming. But for the first time since the war began, he felt like he wasn't alone. Whatever this was, they would face it together. When Cole and Solari emerged from the sacred chamber, the sky had turned deep purple. Night had fallen fast, and the wind carried strange sounds. Lights flashed in the clouds above. The enemy had returned to the ruins, but something in the air had changed. The bond pulsed in Cole's chest like a second heartbeat. He felt stronger, faster, more aware. His wounds no longer hurt. He looked at Solari as she scanned the sky. Her armor shimmered with energy, and her movements were sharper. Now, the bond had changed her too. "There," she said, pointing toward a distant cliff. "The High Seekers are coming. They're drawn to the bond. They will try to break it." Cole narrowed his eyes. "Who are the High Seekers?" She turned toward him. "They are my kind, but not my allies. They guard the old laws. If they believe our bond is false, they will end both of us." Cole gritted his teeth. He had faced monsters, machines, and aliens with laser blades. But this was different. "So what do we do?" he asked. Solari looked him straight in the eyes. "We run, we hide. And when they find us, we fight." They took off across the broken terrain, jumping over rubble and sliding through trenches. The ancient bond gave them speed and balance. Cole had never moved like this before. The ruins seemed to bend around them, helping them pass like ghosts. Solari led him to a collapsed bridge covered in roots and metal vines. "Under here," she said. They slipped into the shadows beneath it. Cole caught his breath. "If they're stronger than you, how do we fight them?" She touched the mark on his chest. "The bond makes us more than we were. Together, we are something new. They fear what they don't understand." Moments later, a glow spread across the rubble. Shadows rose, shaped like armored giants. The High Seekers had arrived. Their armor looked like it was made from bone and crystal. They moved without sound. Cole's fingers tightened around his blaster. One of them stepped forward, its voice sharp and cold. "You, Solari of the Ninth Flame, have broken the veil. You bound with a human. That is forbidden." Solari stood tall. "The veil broke the moment he saw my true form. I followed the law. The bond is real. The Seekers didn't move." Then one pointed at Cole. "Then the trial must begin. Let the human face judgment. If he stands, the bond stands. If he falls, it ends." Cole stepped forward, heart pounding. "What kind of trial?" The Seeker raised its hand, and the air around them began to twist. Suddenly, Cole was no longer under the bridge. He stood in an open arena of stone, surrounded by black void. At the far end stood a figure. It looked like him, but taller, darker, twisted. It smiled at him with cruel eyes. "This is the trial of reflection," Solari's voice echoed in his head. "Defeat your shadow, or the bond dies." Cole didn't wait. The dark version of him charged forward with speed. Their fists clashed. Blades formed from the air and clanged as they struck. Every move Cole made, the shadow matched. But the bond glowed in his chest like a fire. He focused on it. Memories rushed through his mind, his fallen squad, the burning cities, the cold nights alone. But then he remembered her, Solari, the chamber, the vow. The moment he chose not to run. He screamed and drove his fist into the shadow's heart. It shattered like glass. The arena vanished. Cole fell to his knees back under the bridge. The Seeker stepped back, silent. The bond on his chest burned brighter. Solari knelt beside him. "You passed," she said softly. "You are now bound beyond challenge." One of the Seekers lowered his head. "So be it. The bond holds. We leave in peace." And just like that, the shadows faded, vanishing into the wind. Cole leaned against the stone, breathing hard. He looked at Solari and nodded. She smiled at him for the first time, not just as an alien warrior, but as something more. The bond had been tested. Now they had earned a chance to survive what came next. Asterisk, the silence after the High Seekers vanished felt heavier than the battle. Cole leaned against a cracked stone pillar, his breath slowly returning. The mark on his chest still glowed faintly. It no longer burned, but it was warm alive. He wasn't the same man who landed here. Solari stood guard a few steps away, her eyes watching the shadows. Her body looked calm, but her mind was alert. Cole could see that in her hands, ready to summon power again. "What now?" he asked. She didn't turn to him. "Now we prepare. The bond is accepted, but not everyone will welcome it." He walked to her side. The ruins around them hummed with low energy. "Are there more enemies like the Seekers?" She nodded slowly. "Worse, not all threats are of flesh and bone. Some feed on doubt. They'll try to break you from within." Cole looked at her seriously. "Then we stay ready." They traveled toward the far mountains. According to Solari, there was a temple hidden in the cliffs, one untouched by war. She said it held something important, something that could protect both of them if used in time. Cole didn't question it. He trusted her more now. They reached a ridge by nightfall. Wind howled between the rocks and ancient statues guarded the narrow path. Strange symbols glowed beneath their feet with every step. Cole felt the bond react, warning him of something nearby. Solari raised a hand. "We're not alone." Figures moved ahead in the mist. Not warriors this time. Shadows and cloaks, faces covered. They didn't carry weapons, but their presence felt wrong. The air turned cold around them. Cole instinctively reached for his weapon. Solari whispered, "They're the whispers. Spirits of broken bonds, they feed on fear." The whispers surrounded them without speaking. They drifted like smoke, hands reaching out but never touching. One moved close to Cole's ear. He heard a voice, his own voice, but it was filled with pain. "She will betray you. She's using you. You are nothing to her." Cole stepped back. His heart pounded again. Another whisper floated near. "The bond is a lie. You are alone. You've always been alone." Solari grabbed his hand. "Don't listen. They lie, they always lie." But the voices pressed harder into his mind. He saw flashes, his dead squadmates, his ruined home, the feeling of being forgotten. The pain came back like fire. The whispers grew stronger. His knees buckled, but Solari held him up. Her voice was strong now. "Focus on the truth. Say it aloud. Say what you are." Cole clenched his fists. The shadows tried to fill his lungs with despair, but he forced words out. "I am not alone. I chose this bond. I choose to stand." The mark on his chest flared brightly, pushing the shadows away. The whispers screamed as they faded. The mist lifted. The path cleared. Cole looked up, sweat on his face, but his hands steady. Solari gave a short nod. "You fought them off. That means your spirit is strong. Most would fall to doubt. You did not." He stood tall again. "Not anymore." They climbed to the top of the cliffs and found the temple entrance carved into black stone. Giant doors waited there, shut tight for centuries. Solari stepped forward and placed her hand on a symbol. The bond mark on her chest glowed. The stone responded. The doors opened with a deep sound like thunder. Inside, blue light pulsed from the walls. Floating crystals hummed with ancient energy. Solari led the way through a long corridor, speaking softly. "This place was built before memory. It holds power that binds time, truth, and blood." Cole stepped carefully. The air inside the temple was thick, like breathing through water. At the center was a glowing pool surrounded by statues of winged beings. "What is this?" he asked. Solari answered, "The mirror pool. It can show what the bond will become, but it also reveals the truth no one wants to face." She motioned for him to step forward. He knelt beside the pool. At first, he saw nothing. Then slowly, an image formed, him and Solari standing in fire, facing armies together. The world around them changed. Alien stars, human cities, both united. But then came another vision, Solari bleeding, screaming his name. A choice. A betrayal. A cost. He stood up, breathing heavily. Solari placed a hand on his shoulder. "The bond has power, but it comes with pain. We will change the future, but we must be ready for what the future demands." Cole nodded. He didn't know if the vision was fate or warning, but he knew one thing: he would not let the bond break. Not now. Not when so much was at stake. Asterisk. The vision from the mirror pool still echoed in Cole's mind as they left the temple. He didn't speak of what he saw. Solari walked beside him in silence, as if she too had seen things that weighed heavy on her heart. The air felt colder, and the skies above were no longer still. Clouds swirled unnaturally. Lights flickered beyond the atmosphere. Solari looked up and spoke in a quiet voice. They know the bond survived the trial. Now the Elders of Flame will come. If they destroy the source of the vow, the bond will fade, and so will I. Cole turned sharply to her. Fade? What do you mean? She touched her chest where the mark pulsed with weak light. My kind are not made for free bonds. I defied 1,000-year law when I chose you. My strength came from the ancient oath, but if that's broken, so is my life. Cole stared at her. Then we fight to protect it. No matter what comes. They hurried down from the cliffs. The temple behind them closed again, its secrets sealed away. Cole knew their journey was far from over. Whatever was coming next would not test only their strength, but their bond, trust, and sacrifice. Hours passed. They reached the last ridge before the old battlefield. The sky above opened, revealing a massive ship, shaped like a burning star. It didn't fire weapons. Instead, it pulsed with waves of pressure, shaking the ground. Solari fell to one knee. Cole ran to her and held her steady. What's happening? He shouted. She looked at him with pain in her eyes. They're beginning the severance. They want to break the oath by force. If they finish the ritual, I will vanish from this world. Cole pulled her close. What do I do? She handed him a small shard of crystal, glowing with red energy. Place this at the heart of the battlefield. It was where we first met. That spot holds the first vow. If you plant the shard there, the bond will become eternal. He nodded, took the shard, and began to run. The wind pushed against him like a wall. Rocks flew through the air. His boots scraped across shattered ground. He didn't stop. He couldn't. Behind him, Solari collapsed fully to the ground, her body slowly fading like smoke. Reaching the center of the battlefield, Cole dropped to his knees. The spot where she first appeared was still marked with scorched stone. He dug into the dirt and placed the shard deep. The ground rumbled. The crystal pulsed once, then shattered with light. A wave of red and white energy burst across the battlefield. It hit the ship above, freezing its motion. Then it cracked apart, like glass struck by a hammer. Flames fell from the sky, and a piercing scream echoed across the air. The severance had failed. Cole raced back through smoke and falling debris. His lungs burned, but he didn't care. He dropped beside Solari, who now looked like a ghost. It's done, he whispered. The shard broke. The bond holds. She looked at him, eyes glowing brighter once again, her body solidified, piece by piece, until she stood again with her full strength. Her armor glowed with new power. You did it, she said. The vow is now eternal. No law can break us. No force can sever it. Cole smiled through the dust and blood. Then let them come. We stand together now. She stepped closer, placing her hand over his heart again. No more trials. No more tests. Only one step remains. The vow must be sealed completely with the joining of breath and flame. He didn't understand the words, but her kiss told him everything. When her lips touched his, the world fell silent. The bond on his chest burned like a sun, and for the first time, he understood what it meant to be part of something greater. The sky cleared. The storm above had ended. But in the calm, Cole knew the galaxy had taken notice. Their bond was not just personal, it was a symbol. And symbols attracted both protectors and destroyers. Solari looked out at the stars. They will come for us now. Some will want to worship. Others will want revenge. But the dawn will come. And when it does, we will face it not as strangers, but as one soul, born of vow and fire. Asterisk, the morning sky rose slowly, not with sun but with twin moons casting golden light across the ruins. Cole stood with Solari atop a broken tower, watching the stars fade into soft morning light. The world below was quiet, but not peaceful. Something was coming. A low hum echoed through the air. On the horizon, ships approached. Hundreds of them. Some bore the colors of old empires. Others were unknown, sleek and shaped like living creatures. Each one came with eyes watching them. Not as enemies yet, but not as friends either. Solari narrowed her eyes. The bond's power reached across the stars. Now the rulers of many worlds come to judge us. They fear what we are. A union between species. A bond that breaks ancient rules. Cole didn't flinch. Let them judge. I won't run from them. They descended from the tower. The battlefield below had become something else, half sacred ground, half war zone. The place where they met was now a glowing crater of red energy. Alien scouts waited at the edge, scanning the area but not daring to step closer. A new figure approached, wearing armor layered in gold and crystal. His face was hidden behind a glowing mask. Solari, Flameburn of the Ninth Line, he said. You stand before the circle of rule. What you have done is forbidden, but we will listen before we strike. Solari stepped forward without fear. I did not choose to break your law. The bond formed by truth, not desire. He saw me when I was vulnerable. I could not unmake that moment. I followed the law that governs the soul. Her voice carried across the field. The golden figure turned toward Cole. And you, human, do you claim her as equal? Do you accept the bond not as a shield, but as part of your life? Cole stood tall, dirt on his face, armor cracked. I do. I didn't ask for this, but I chose it. I stand with her, now and always. There was silence, then murmurs. The other ships hovered in place, watching. Some activated weapons. Others began to power down. The moment hung in balance. One word could bring peace or war. The golden figure raised his hand. Then prove it. Take her hand before the circle. Speak the vow aloud. Let all hear what your bond truly is. Cole didn't hesitate. He reached out, took Solari's hand, and looked into her eyes. I saw your true form. I did not fear it. I chose it. I choose you. Solari nodded. I saw your broken soul. I did not run. I accepted it. I bind to you, now and always. As their hands tightened, a wave of red light burst across the plain. The sky above shimmered with warmth. The bond was now part of the world itself. The golden figure stepped back. The bond has spoken. We cannot destroy what is true. He turned to the other ships. Let the word go out. The flame of unity has been born. Let those who seek war turn back. Let those who seek peace step forward. One by one, the ships backed away. Some vanished into the sky. Others landed gently, sending diplomats, not soldiers. Solari and Cole remained at the center, not just warriors, not just lovers. They were now something more, a living vow. A link between two worlds. A spark that might change the future of 1,000 species. But they did not think of titles or thrones. They only thought of each other, of survival, of a journey still unfinished. That night, under the twin moons, they sat beside the pool where the vow began. No armies, no trials. Only silence and breath. And the bond that would never break again.